Alright, welcome back guys. In this video, you will learn how to create this standard business card inside Photoshop step by step. Let's get started. Let's start by creating a new file. As you can see here, my document units are set to pixels. I intend to print this card, so I'm going to switch from pixels to inches, which is a physical unit. Now, as you know, the dimensions of a standard business card are 3.5 inches by 2 inches. But if we were to work with these values, we will not have enough room to work with, which is why I'm actually going to increase the width and height. So for the width, instead of 3.5, I'm going to increase it by 0.66, which gives 3.66 inches. And for the height, I'm going to make it 2.16. Then I'm going to enable Artboard, and as you can see, this is not the standard resolution for printing. So change 72 to 300. What this simply means is that for every inch, there are 300 pixels, and they will be enough to give you a good quality print. For the color mode, you can work with CMYK, which is preferred for printing, or RGB, because these days, most modern printers can actually separate those colors so nicely. On the background content, I'm going to make it transparent and click on create. Now I'll start by renaming Artboard 1 to front, and I'll select this layer, then grab my rectangle tool, just click somewhere on the canvas. Now I need to input the standard dimensions of a business card here. So for the width, 3.5 inches will be 1050 and 2 inches will be 600 pixels. Then just click on OK. Press Ctrl A to select everything. Press the V key to switch to the move tool. Click on this button and click on this button. As you can see, we get this boundary or the bleed. Now I'm going to grab my ellipse tool. Just click and drag from this portion. Now I'm going to double click on this thumbnail and choose this color. Then I'll press Ctrl J to duplicate that layer, and I'll double click on this thumbnail and choose this other shade. Now with my move tool, I'm just going to grab the ellipse on top and move it just like so. Now I'm going to shift click on this ellipse one to select these two layers, right click and then choose merge shapes. Now with my ellipse tool, I'll click on this button on the options bar and choose subtract from shape. As you can see, I'm left with just this piece here. This piece is going to be used as a reference. Now I'll click again here and choose merge shape components to make it one piece. As you can see, it is extending towards the bleed. So let's come here on the layers panel, hold the Alt key and just click here to add a clipping mask to it. Now with the pen tool, I'll make sure I'm choosing shape from the options bar. I will also enable my rubber band, and then I'll just click and drag here. My purpose now is to make sure I create a shape path that follows this path I've created, or this reference guide. So I'll just click there, come somewhere around here and click again, and just try to align it like so. Now I'll hold the Alt key, click here, just click here, and hold the Alt key and just click here. Let's double click inside here and pick just any random color for now. I'll hold the Alt key and clip it. As you can see, it stays just within the original dimensions. So with this shape layer selected, let's just click here and choose gradient, and I'm going to choose this custom gradient I created while testing this out. Now with my pen tool again, I'm just going to click somewhere around here, drag, again come here, click and drag like so to have that curved path right there. Again I'll hold the Alt key, click here, and just click here. And let us clip it, and with this layer selected, let's go on the options bar and choose this gradient just like so. Now I'm going to spend some time to redefine this path to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Now everything looks nice, so I'm just going to come here and delete the reference guide. With this rectangle selected, let's go on the options bar, click here, choose gradient and pick this gradient. Now let's click on this piece, click on the effects icon and choose drop shadow. Make sure global light is turned off, set the distance to 7, the spread to 9 and the size to 6. Choose a black color and then set the opacity to 48%. You'll get this effect here. Now as you can see, the edges here look too sharp, so let's click on bevel and emboss. For the style, let us choose inner bevel, and for the technique, let us choose smooth. You can play with the directions to see which one suits your design. For me, I think the up direction is actually better. I'm going to increase the depth slightly to 199% and then just click on OK. And this is what we get. Now let's add some texture to the background, the rectangle background, and for that I'm going to click here and choose pattern. I'll just click on this arrow and then with the water group selected, I'm just going to choose this one. I'll click here and take the scale down. As you can see, we added this roughness to it. Now I'm just going to take the opacity down to 30%. And this is what we get. Now inside the front group, I want to actually group everything, so I'll select this, shift click here to select everything, press Ctrl G, and I'll call this design. Then I'm going to add another group inside there and add another layer also. Now I'm just going to add a random logo. I'll go here and select the polygon tool, change the size to 3, just click here, just like so. Let us change the fill to no fill and make the stroke a gradient stroke. And let us just choose this gradient. And let's increase the size of the stroke to 5 pixels. Now with the polygon selected, press Ctrl J to duplicate it. And for the duplicate copy, let's increase the size to 10 pixels. Now with the move tool, just move it like so. Now shift click to select these two layers, right click, and then choose convert to smart object. Let's just rename them to logo. And then let us press Ctrl T and scale it down. Then I'm going to move it here. The logo group is okay, so let's collapse it and let us rename it to logo. It is always a good thing to stay organized. Let's add another group. Let us open the design group and select this shape. Now with our rectangle tool, I'm just going to click here and create this extending piece just like so. On the options bar, I'll click on the fill and then choose this gradient. Now let's go back here, and as you can see, it is set to linear gradient. I'll just change this value to 180. And because we selected this shape, this one came on top as a clipping mask already. Now let's just arrange the logo so that it falls on the same line with this, just like so. I'll expand this group again. With my rectangle tool, I'll just click here and create a small rectangle just like so. Let's make it gradient and choose that particular gradient. Now we stay consistent. Let us move this rectangle to the design folder or the design group and collapse it. Now I'm going to add another group, move it to the top, and I'll rename the group to text. Now with my text tool, I'm going to make sure the text group is selected, and then I'll just click here to add the name. Then I'll press Ctrl T and scale the text up just so slightly. And with my move tool, the text must come here. With the text tool again, I'm going to make sure this layer is not selected by clicking on this empty portion and change the font weight to light. And I'll just type designer. With the move tool, I'm going to move it here. Then I'll press Ctrl T and then I'll scale it down just so slightly like so. And let us move it to the text group. Now I'm going to click on this button and choose gradient. Then I'll click inside here and choose this gradient and say OK. Let's double click inside here, then choose reverse. Now inside this text group, let us make designer and Sarah Jones one group. So I'll select the two layers, press Ctrl G to group them because I intend to apply this gradient to the whole group. Then I'll hold the Alt key and add a clipping mask to it. Now only that group gets affected. We can select the whole text group and take down the opacity. Let's create another group and I'll call this extras, and then I'll switch to my custom shape tool, and here on the options bar I'm going to click on this arrow and pick this icon. Then I'll just click here to add that icon like so. And I don't want a fill, but I want a gradient stroke, and it should be this gradient, and the size has to be 2 pixels. Let's go again here, pick this one, and I'll just click here and drag. Now I'm going to put all these icons into one group and convert them to a smart object. Now with my text tool, I'm just going to input random text here, then I'll just duplicate it around. Now what I'm going to do is to select all these text layers, press Ctrl G to group everything there, then like we did with this text, I'm just going to add a gradient to it, and then I'll reverse it. And then to make sure it affects just the group with the text, I'm going to hold the Alt key and just click here. Now this is how it looks. Now as you can see, the card has very sharp corners. Let's go to the design group, select the background, which is this rectangle, and then click to open the properties panel. And here, let us just input 20 pixels here to round those corners. It gets duplicated all around because we have this chain icon checked. And as you can see on the layers panel, everything is still in the front group. And as you can recall, we created this as an artboard. So I'm just going to duplicate that artboard by pressing Ctrl J, and we get another artboard here just like so. I'm just going to rename it to back, just like so. Now I'll hide this artboard, the front one, and then open this group and delete everything except the background. Now with this background selected, let us switch to the path selection tool in order to have the fill and stroke here. Now I'll click on the fill and simply choose this gradient to make it very uniform, just like so. Now let's just duplicate this logo to this artboard. For that, let's go to the front group and then expand the logo group, and you can see it right here. Now I'm just going to hold the Alt key and just click here to drag it up onto this group. As we release inside the back design, it jumps to this artboard automatically. So I'm just going to zoom into it, and then with the move tool, I'm going to select this logo, shift click on rectangle to select it, and just click here and also click here. Now it is perfectly aligned, but I want the logo to align to the upper section somehow. So I'll select the logo and just move it up like this. Then with my text tool, I'm just going to click here. Let us select the two text layers, press Ctrl G to put them inside that group. And rename them to company logo. And let's go here and add gradient. Or just choose this gradient, reverse it, click OK. Now let's clip it just like so. Now as you can see, this is the front and this is the back. And I actually took some time off the screen to add some guides. So if I press Ctrl plus H to show the extras, you can see these guides right here. So right now I'm ready to print this card. So that is what I wanted to show you in this video, guys. I hope you found it very helpful. Thank you for following along, and if you got value from this video, kindly subscribe to encourage the channel. I'm going to see you in the next one tomorrow. Good luck.